Space was quiet, cold, empty. But deep in the darkness, something moved. A small ship, broken and damaged, floated alone. Inside it, only one thing still worked: the emergency signal. It blinked. It beeped. It sent the same message again and again. Help. Please. Someone. Help. The message came from a dying alien race. No one else was listening. No one else cared. But one planet did hear it. A planet feared by many. A planet known as a Deathworld. That planet was Earth. Earth was no ordinary world. To aliens, it was a place of storms, fires, deadly creatures, and strange life. The people of Earth, humans, were strong. They were smart. They were dangerous. The galaxy had many names for them: Deathworlders, monsters, survivors, beasts, inhuman skin. But Earth did not care about names. It only cared about the message. The signal came to a listening post on Earth's moon. A young scientist named Mira was the first to hear it. She cleaned up the static. She played it over and over. At first it was just noise, then words started to form. Help! They are coming. They destroyed us. Please. Anyone. Mira's eyes went wide. She ran the signal through every system. The voice was weak. The ship it came from was small. But the fear in the voice, that was real. She sent it to command. Within minutes, every major leader on Earth knew. They held a meeting inside the Global Defense Tower. Military generals, space fleet commanders, and top scientists were there. The signal was played again. They are coming. They took our world. We're next. Please, help us. Some thought it was a trap. Others said it wasn't Earth's problem. But then a deep voice spoke. It was General Rake, commander of Earth's elite space force. It doesn't matter who sent it, he said. Someone's in trouble, and they're begging us. That means we go. The room went quiet. Then the president of Earth stood up. She nodded slowly. Send a ship, but not just any ship. That's when they chose the Vanguard, a warship known across the galaxy, built for battle, designed to survive anything. The Vanguard wasn't a ship of peace. It was a symbol, a warning to anyone who would hurt the weak. Its crew was handpicked, soldiers, engineers, scientists, all trained for deadly missions. They launched in silence. No news, no noise, no fear. The world watched as the ship vanished into the stars. Inside the Vanguard, Captain Ellen Varro stood at the window. She stared into space, thinking about the signal. Whoever sent that message, she said, is either already dead or about to be. Her second in command, a quiet man named Riven, replied, and if we're lucky when we're not too late. The ship moved faster than light, crossing systems in hours. As it flew, more pieces of the message came in. They do not speak. They do not stop. They take everything. Captain Varro frowned. She had seen war, she had fought monsters, but this sounded worse. The Vanguard arrived at the edge of a dying solar system. Planets burned, moons cracked in half, wreckage floated everywhere. Then they saw it. The small alien ship that sent the signal. It was barely holding together. A recovery. Team brought it in. Inside, they found one alien still breathing. His skin was pale blue, his eyes full of fear. He opened his mouth and whispered in a soft, shaking voice. You answered. Then he passed out. The humans looked at each other. Something terrible had happened here, and now it might be coming for them too. The hunt had begun. The Vanguard drifted silently through the shadows of space, moving closer to the strange system where the SOS had come from. The deeper they went, the more the crew felt a heavy silence around them. It was the kind of silence that made your skin crawl, like something was watching but refusing to show itself. Captain Ellen Varro stood at the bridge window, her eyes sharp and alert. She didn't say much, but everyone knew she felt the weight of what lay ahead. The unknown was never easy to face, but this mission was different. It was personal now. Suddenly, the ship's sensors blinked with a soft alarm. A faint signal appeared. Nearby, a small escape pod drifting near a shattered moon. The crew held their breath as the Vanguard moved closer. The pod looked old and battered, but inside they found something alive. A single alien, fragile and weak, was inside the pod. His blue skin shimmered faintly under the lights. His eyes were wide, filled with something between fear and hope. He was thin, almost like a shadow of a being. When the medics carefully brought him aboard, he whispered one word over and over. "Please. Help." The crew gathered quietly around, listening to his broken story. His name was Terran. He told them his people lived on a beautiful planet that was full of life and peace. But everything changed. One day, dark ships appeared. Not like anything the galaxy had seen before. These ships moved silently, taking away everything. Homes, forests, even the sky seemed to disappear. No one could stop them. Terran's voice trembled as he spoke of the sudden loss, but he was clear. His people didn't want war. They wanted safety. They wanted a chance to live in peace again. The humans listened carefully. They saw in Terran's eyes the pain of a world lost, but also a small spark, a hope that maybe, with help, they could rebuild. Captain Vero looked at her crew and then back at Terran. The mission had become clearer. It was not just about sending a warship anymore. It was about standing up for those who could not protect themselves. The crew began preparing the Vanguard for what was next. They studied the signals, the maps, and the little information Terran could give. Every new detail painted a picture of a growing threat, one that could spread farther than anyone imagined. At night, when the ship's lights dimmed, some crew members whispered quietly among themselves. They spoke of what might be waiting ahead. But none of them wanted to say it out loud, because this wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. It was a warning, and the galaxy was about to change forever. The Vanguard moved quietly through the stars, following the path of the lost signals and broken worlds. Each step took the crew deeper into a place where silence was loud, where the empty space between stars seemed to hold secrets no one dared to speak about. Captain Ellen Vero watched the stars from the bridge. Her mind was filled with questions. What had caused this silence? What had happened to the worlds they were passing? She didn't have answers yet, but she knew the truth was closer than ever. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement ahead. It wasn't just the cold emptiness anymore, something was there. A small group of ships moving slowly, almost hidden in the darkness. The crew prepared quietly but carefully. They knew this was a moment to watch, to learn, not rush. The unknown was dangerous, but so was rushing blindly. The ships ahead were strange. Their shapes were unlike anything humans had seen before. They moved with purpose, almost like they were searching for something. Captain Vero ordered the ship to stay hidden and watch. The crew waited, eyes on the screens, hearts quietly beating. Then, a message came through. Simple but full of fear. "They are coming here next. We cannot stop them. Help us." It was the voice of another alien, weak and full of hope. The crew realized the threat was not only near but moving closer. The path of these ships was clear, and Earth was in the way. The Vanguard's mission changed once again. It was no longer just about finding survivors. Now, it was about preparing. Preparing to protect, to stand strong for those who could not. Scientists on board worked day and night, studying the signals, learning everything they could about the strange ships. They found clues in the light reflected from the ship's surfaces, a pattern, a rhythm that was almost like a language. Captain Vero called a meeting with her crew. "We don't know what exactly we face," she said, "but we know it is coming. We must be ready. We will protect those who ask for help, and we will show that kindness is not weakness." Her words settled in the room like a calm before a storm. Outside the windows, stars passed by, and the Vanguard moved ever closer to the heart of the mystery. The crew prepared for what was ahead, knowing that their courage and wisdom would be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. The silent space around them held its breath, and so did the crew. The stars outside the Vanguard's windows stretched like endless rivers of light, but inside the ship the air felt heavy. The crew moved with quiet purpose, knowing they were close to something big, something that would change everything. Captain Ellen Varro stood in the command room, watching her crew prepare. The ship was no longer just a vessel. It was a symbol of hope and strength. They weren't just explorers or rescuers anymore. They were protectors. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a large object ahead, a massive ship unlike any the crew had seen. It was covered in smooth, reflective panels that shifted colors softly, like a living mirror. It moved gracefully through space, but there was an undeniable presence to it, as if it carried the weight of many lost worlds. The crew held their breath. No one made a sound. The ship was close enough now for communication attempts. Captain Varro ordered her team to send a simple message. "We come in peace. We mean no harm. We seek to help." Minutes passed like hours as the crew waited. Then a reply came through, strange and full of static, but clear enough to understand. "Help, yes, but time is short. They come, they take. We cannot stop alone." The message was from the mysterious ship's occupants, a race desperate and frightened. Captain Varro's heart tightened. They were not just fighting for one planet, but for many. The crew quickly began sharing what they had learned. Scientists worked on decoding the patterns in the messages, while engineers prepared the ship for any challenge ahead. Despite the weight of the situation, the crew found moments to share small smiles and quiet words of encouragement. They knew fear was normal, but hope was stronger. Captain Varro looked at her team and said softly, "We stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. We will be their strength. Together, we will face the unknown." As the Vanguard moved closer to the giant ship, a strange feeling filled the air, a mix of tension, hope, and determination. The mission was no longer just about survival. It was about connection, courage, and the future of many worlds. Outside, the stars continued their silent dance. Inside, the crew prepared to write a new story, one of unity and resilience. The Vanguard sailed closer to the heart of the danger, and the crew could feel the weight of what was coming. The signals grew louder, clearer, a call not just for help, but a call for action. The stars outside seemed colder, and the quiet space between them stretched like a warning. Captain Ellen Varro stood tall on the bridge. She watched the crew move with steady hands and steady hearts. This was more than a mission now. It was a promise to protect not only the helpless but the future itself. Reports came in from all directions. More ships of the strange race were seen, small and fast, moving across the star systems like a slow tide. They weren't loud or aggressive, but their presence spoke volumes. They were searching, marking, preparing. The humans were not alone. They had made allies among other alien races, ones who had also seen the dark shadows moving through space. Together they shared knowledge, strategies, and hopes. A great meeting was held aboard the Vanguard, where leaders from many worlds spoke quietly, their voices filled with determination. "We must stand together," Captain Varro said, "for the future of all who live." The crew worked day and night, not only to prepare defenses but to find a way to stop the silent threat before it grew too strong. Scientists searched for weaknesses, while navigators plotted new courses through the stars. The ship felt alive with purpose. Every person aboard knew that they were part of something greater. This was no longer just Earth's fight. It was a fight for every world that wanted to live in peace. Then came the moment they had been waiting for. The sensors detected a large gathering, a silent fleet moving slowly but surely toward a distant planet, one not yet touched by the shadow. The crew watched in silence as the fleet moved, their lights blinking softly in the darkness. The decision was clear. They had to be there first. Captain Varro gave the order. The Vanguard and its allies moved swiftly, ready to stand as a shield for the innocent. And though the stars outside held their breath, inside the ship, the hearts of many beat strong, filled with hope, courage, and the will to protect. The stars stretched endlessly ahead as the Vanguard and its allies raced toward the distant planet. The crew moved with quiet focus, each knowing this moment was more than a mission. It was a chance to protect many lives and build a future where kindness could survive. Captain Ellen Varro stood at the bridge, eyes scanning the dark space before them. The silence was deep, but not empty. It carried the weight of hope and the promise of new beginnings. As they approached, the planet slowly came into view, green and blue, untouched and peaceful. It was a world full of life, full of dreams. And now, it needed protectors. The strange fleet loomed ahead, moving with steady purpose. But this time the Vanguard was ready, not with weapons raised, but with courage, unity, and a clear mission: to stand between the innocent and the unknown. The crews of many ships worked together, seamlessly, sending messages of peace and strength. They reached out to the occupants of the strange fleet, trying to understand, to communicate, and to find a way to stop the shadow without harm. Then, through the crackle of signals, came a response, a voice trembling but honest. "We do not wish to bring harm. We search for safety too. We are lost, afraid." The revelation changed everything. The silent fleet was not a force of destruction, but a group searching for refuge, scared and uncertain. Captain Varro and her team opened the doors of the Vanguard wide, offering help and hope. Together, the humans and the strangers worked to find peace. They shared stories of survival and strength, learning from each other and building trust. The mission had changed again, from rescue to friendship, from fear to understanding. And as the stars watched silently, a new chapter began, one where different worlds could stand together, united by hope and courage.